Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyana Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishmar Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tadiya Vyāsa-pūjā Maha Mahotsava ki jai. Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Bhakti Vallabha Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Bhakti Dait Madhav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki jai. All the associates of Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. And all of the followers of those associates ki jai. Jai Shri Harinam, Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath, Shard Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parashad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कोरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय. श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जय. श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय. श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Chaturmasya Vrat ki jai. Vrat Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All the festivals all over the world for Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. And all the devotees who are participating in these festivals all over the world ki jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Pranams everybody. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we will go through the Mangala Charan together. I prepared this Mangala Charan for Śrīla Bharatī's Mahārāja. Wait, one second. Let me make sure everything's okay for Kishore Mohan. Passcode. Oh, shoot. I think it is 1921. Otherwise, try 1008. But that's true. Okay, let's do that Mangala Charan. Sorry. Oh, there he is. Okay, great, you made it in. I'm going to do the Mangala Charan and I'll just speak a couple introductory words and then you're on. Okay. So Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Purve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yeah, this is the pranam mantra for Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī. You know, recite it together. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Kripaika Vitta Ya Maryada Rakshati Vaishnavanam Kripavalam Madhava Preshtakami Shri Bhaktidang Bharatim Ashrayama. I'll read the translation part. I accept shelter at the lotus feet of the most revered Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, who treasures the mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his exclusive wealth, who is the personification of following Vaishnava etiquette in its purest form, who considers the boundless mercy of Sri Srimad Bhakti Madhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja as his life and soul, and always aspires to eternally remain his dearmost servitor. And there's in square brackets, it says, one who knows and fulfills the most cherished desires, the manobhishta of his beloved master, and who bestows Shri Bhakti. Shri Bhakti means the topmost service to Srimati Radhika as her maidservant, right? Shri means Srimati Radhika. So Shri Bhakti to one and all without discrimination. Now the pranam mantra for Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Rupanuga Priyaya Cha Srimate Bhakti Daita Madhava Swami Namine Krishna Bhinna Prakasha Shri Murtaye Dina Tarine Shama Guna Avataraya Guruve Prabhave Namaha Satirtha Priti Sadharma Guru Priti Pradarshine Isho Dhyana Prabhavasya Prakashatayate Namaha Shri Kshetre Prabhupadasya Stanudhara Sukirtaye Saraswata Ganananda Samvardhanayate Namaha. I offer prostrated obeisances to Srila Bhakti Madhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, the representative of Lord Vishnu, dear to the followers of Sri Rupa Goswami. Obeisances to you, O spiritual guide, non-different manifestation of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Redeemer of the fallen souls and personification of the quality of forgiveness. Obeisances to you, who, by rendering affectionate service to God-brothers, exemplified your loving attachments to Guru, and who manifested the glory of Ishodhyana at Sri Mayapur. I offer obeisances to you, who brought immense joy to those devoted to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada by recovering his birthplace in Puri, for which you are justly renowned. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Kodiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanay Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jivanunan Krishna Prema Sudabdi Kahana Sukham Pradat Prabhuntam Bhaje Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshaya Kshiptashtakama Ditaranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Let's see who's there. Sarveshwari Mataji, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji, Rupa Charan Prabhu, Archana Didi, Kishori Mohan Prabhu, Guru Nishta Prabhu, Sarveshwari, oh wait, you're there twice, Sri Devi Didi, Krishna Mai Didi, Champak Mataji, Ashray Prabhu. On YouTube and Facebook, there is Krishna Karshini, oh, Kishore Mohan's on Facebook too. Cool. Kishore Prabhu, Vidyalala Sadidi, Champak Mataji, and everybody else watching. Yeah, and all devotees watching in the future also pranams. So thank you so much for joining our second program in honor of Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. I'm very happy to have Kishore Mohan Prabhu, like he's joining us to offer his Pushpanjali, and afterwards, Shripad Nri Hari Prabhu, he will also make his offering. And also, Bhavatarani Mataji wants to make a Pushpanjali also. She's more than welcome. So, as I am Manjari Didi, and as we mentioned yesterday, and as I bet Kishore Mahaprabhu also mentioned, Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja, he placed so much emphasis on Vaishnav Seva, and his words have immense power to transform anyone who would open themselves to submissively listen to them. Why did his words hold so much power? Because he was a perfect example of every instruction he gave. He didn't just say to always engage, he didn't just say to always engage in Vaishnav Seva, but he was the very embodiment of that instruction. Like Manjulali Didi, she mentioned yesterday, how on the instruction of his Gurudev, he served all of his Gurudev's godbrothers as if they were his own Gurudev. And from such dedicated and intimate service, he was able to melt their hearts and understand them. He was able to have real darshan of them. Such darshan of a Vaishnava is only possible through service like this. And so he knew all these personalities on such a deep level. But he didn't just keep this wealth for himself. He made this darshan of all these personalities available to everyone through his Harikatha. Just open up the book, My Beloved Masters, and look at the table of contents, how many personalities there are. And most of these personalities, or many of them at least, would have become completely unknown, maybe even completely forgotten by most devotees in the world, maybe all devotees in the world in the future. But now, because of Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja, our year is filled with remembrance of these amazing personalities. Because of Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja's huge emphasis on the necessity to not ignore these personalities when their days come. He would say all the time, he'd say, if you ignore, these personalities are coming to us on their appearance days and disappearance days. And when they come to us and we ignore them, then it is actually aparad. That's one of the Vaishnava aparads, is to neglect the Vaishnava, to ignore Vaishnava. So he gave so much emphasis on this that it made a very huge impact on the lives of so many devotees. I've noted, like, it's made a huge impact on my own life, and so many of the devotees that I've known who've heard from him. Now, when all throughout the year, there's so many personalities and they have an appearance day and disappearance day. So it's like, it almost seems like every week there's some personality to glorify. And has anybody subscribed? I hope everybody here is subscribed to the Vishuddha Chaitanya Vani mailing list. If you haven't, I highly recommend you go there now. The website is vcvani.com, vcvani.com. And if you go there, you can subscribe to the mailing list. And the day before any of these personalities' appearance days or disappearance days, you'll get in your inbox Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja's glorification of them, a transcription of his glorification. So, and it only takes 15 minutes or so to read about these personalities. So anyways, yeah, also, I really like that point that Manjulali Didi mentioned, how he said that when, what did she say? She said that just hearing about these personalities, just glorifying these personalities on their, is service to them. That's actual Vaishnava Seva. And the way I understood that is because these personalities, why did they come here? They came here to give us these instructions, to give us these teachings. And so when we're actually, and so that's what they want from us. That's the topmost service that we can do for them, is to really try to take seriously the teachings that they gave us through their own lives and through their Harikatha. And so if we take their instructions to heart on their daily, there's nothing that would please them more. And so that's real Vaishnava Seva. That we get to personally serve all these personalities all throughout the year because of Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja. And yeah, so many devotees are so deeply impacted, and like our Kishore Mohan Prabhu. And so he will now offer his Pushpanjali to that personality who so strongly helped us glorify all the acharyas and all these associates of Srila Prabhupada and all these associates of Mahaprabhu and everybody in our Guru Parampara. He really, yeah, made us like instilled, like impacted us so much to glorify all these Vaishnavas, and now we get to glorify that personality who helped us do this. So this is a great opportunity today, and I hand it over to Kishore Mohan Prabhu now. Haribol. All right.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for saying that I get to glorify him. Because yesterday I played the role of MC for the devotees in Gopinath Bhavan, and the devotees were so excited to be able to glorify him. And the last one was Krishna Kishore. And I said, if you're merciful to me, you'll give me a couple of minutes before Arti. And there were 4 minutes left, and I went over an extra 5 minutes. But I felt like, I didn't get to speak anything about him today. Barely. It was barely touching on it. And so you said, I get to remember. But Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja and all of our Vaishnavas have said that actually to be able to glorify a Vaishnava is not a simple thing or a cheap thing. Actually, it is impossible to glorify such a personality. Even Krishna finds it difficult to glorify them because his nature is bahunishta, and their nature is ekanishta. In other words, his mood is that his nishta or his conviction goes in every direction. As our Gurudev said, not even one jiva can he neglect. But the pure devotees, they're so amazing to Krishna because they are one pointed to Krishna. That's why Krishna wants to understand what it is like to love him from the perspective of a devotee, and comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tasting the moods of Srimati Radhika. So if Ananta Shesha has been trying to glorify Krishna since time without beginning and feels he cannot scratch the surface, and Krishna is finding it so amazing, the glories of the Vaishnava, then the only thing for us is that we must try. Guru Vaishnav Bhagavan, Tiner Smaran Hoy, Sarva Vigya Vinashan. I learned that verse by hearing Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja again and again and again. He said it so many times, and I was like, what is this verse he is saying? Guru, Vaishnav, Bhagavan, Tiner Smaran. To remember these three, Guru, Vaishnav, and Bhagavan, Tiner Smaran Hoy, Sarva Vigya Vinashan. To remember them, all kinds of ignorance, anarthas, and everything are completely destroyed. And what comes in its place? All auspiciousness manifests in its place. And that auspiciousness means the increase of Krishna Bhakti. So before I begin, first I would like to just pray in the dust of the lotus feet of my Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja and the Vaishnavas. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Ajnanatimiraandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanitti Namine. Namah Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī iti Namine. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giring Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. So first of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of my beloved Srila Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtotara Shata, Shri Srimad, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And on this day, the second day of glorifications of Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of his lotus feet. And also, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtotara Shata, Shri Srimad Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Swami, Śrīla Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga, Gauriya, Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present here today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam. So, previously, as I was saying, Shastra says, all of our Purva Acharyas speak, especially Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami tells in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the audacity that one has to think that they can glorify a transcendental personality is just the way he expresses himself. It is like the extent of arrogance and conceit. And yet, unless one makes that endeavor, their hearts cannot be purified. So even the endeavor or the attempt to glorify, to remember the glories, the teachings, and the pastimes of any pure Vaishnava is exceedingly beneficial for us. And in this case, on this day, and yesterday, and every day, to receive the opportunity to endeavor to glorify such a personality as Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja is the greatest fortune. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja he was very, very kind to me. I don't know why, but it seemed like he took an instant liking to me, and I took an instant liking to him. After our Srila Gurudev departed from our vision in this world, there was a feeling of utter desperation, which is normal upon the disappearance of any transcendental and pure Vaishnava. And I remember feeling that, why am I here? I was in Vrindavan during Kartik. What am I doing? I didn't have any feeling of connectedness to any Vaishnava deeply. And it so happened that one day we were in Faridabad and we were there for doing preaching programs. And the devotees there, they said, oh, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja is here in Faridabad. Would you like to go and see him? And so, of course, we said, sure, we will go and see him. Already devotees from different groups were saying, if you hear from any Vaishnava outside of our group, if you go to any, I'm going to quote, if you go to any other Mahabhagavat outside of our group, then you are betraying Srila Gurudev and you are making aparad. I didn't believe that because our Srila Gurudev was outside of so many other persons' groups. But our Srila Gurudev opened his arms to accept devotees from all different groups. He accepted devotees who needed shelter from ISKCON. He accepted devotees who needed shelter from Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. He accepted devotees who needed shelter. This is after their departure, after the departure of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, of Srila Bhakti Sri Rup Siddhanti Maharaj, of Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, of Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj. He opened his arms and accepted so many devotees and gave them nourishment and shelter. And so he showed himself practically that this idea that if you go outside of your own group to receive inspiration from any other Mahabhagavat, that this is aparad or betraying Gurudev. He already showed and proved with his own life that that idea was utterly nonsense. So I couldn't accept it. I couldn't believe it. When people were telling it from the stage or from whatever, my blood would boil. I was like, this is against the teachings of Gurudev. This is against the teachings of Bhakti. This is against everything that we know about Vaishnava association. And so when the opportunity arose to meet with Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, we accepted. I had only seen him once before, and that's because when we were in Mayapur for parikrama, Sudevi found me in a crowd of 20,000 devotees. You know how it's like. There was the party of Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, the party of Bhakti Dayat Maharaj, the party of Keshavji Gaudiya Mat, our Param Guru, and they all collided at that one place. And so everyone was mixed up. People were going with the wrong groups. And somehow Sudevi found me in this crowd. And she's like, come with me now. And she showed me from the back of the temple room, which was massive. 1,000 devotees were there. She said, do you see who is sitting next to Gurudev? I said, yes. She said, do you notice that he is glowing? Him and Gurudev are glowing. And everyone else, so many sannyasis, hundreds, but they didn't have the same glow as these two. She said, he's glowing. Whoever he is, we need to go and touch his feet and give him whatever's in your pockets. And so we made our way to the front, and he was sitting next to our Srila Gurudev. And so we offered pranam, we touched his feet, and I gave him whatever was in my pockets. Many years later, after Srila Gurudev departed from our vision in this world, we were there. We received the opportunity to engage in his seva from October right until his departure, from Delhi to Govardhan and Vrindavan, and then to Jagannath Puri. And so we were there until he departed, and then we came back to Vrindavan. About a week later, less than a week later, Sudevi received a little hard drive, a pen drive from one devotee of Srila Gurudev's Samadhi ceremony. And when she began watching that, before she didn't think she needed to, because we were there when Gurudev actually departed, and we were there, we said Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Radhe Radhe Radhe, as his car left and went to Navadvip from Puri. But she began to watch that, and she had a breakdown. I've never heard or seen anyone cry like that before or after. Her mouth was open, she was screaming and wailing bitterly, like I've never seen anyone cry before. The extent of a broken heart. And as she was crying, she was like, what's going on? Something happened. And she said, someone's face keeps coming in my head, but it's not Gurudev. She said, we saw this sannyasi before. Do you remember that glowing sannyasi who was sitting on the stage with Gurudev in Mayapur? I said, yeah. She said, do you know his name? I said, no. She said, we have to find his name. So we started asking around Gopinath Bhavan to all the devotees, and no one knew. And then she asked Vijay Krishna. And Vijay Krishna, he said, I think I know who you're talking about. She said he's also golden, like fair complexion like Gurudev, and he was sitting next to Gurudev and glowing. And he goes through his stuff and he pulls out a photo and he said, is this him? And she said, yes. And he said, that's Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja. And so it was kind of interesting because she was thinking, why did Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja's face come in my mind? And so we were open to meeting with him, to hearing him, or to seeing him. And when the opportunity arose later, then we decided to go and see him. Because we hear from Shastra that the sole reason for the disappearance of Sri Guru, and our Gurudev told this, is to inspire a serving mood within the heart. And only by that kind of crying that manifests in separation from the pure devotee does a pure devotee manifest. And so the way she was crying in separation from Gurudev, And then Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja's face was in her head. It was like, maybe I can receive something there. She was feeling orphaned. I was feeling orphaned. And we needed some nectar, some sustenance, some juice to keep us going, to keep us inspired, to keep us enthused. And so when the opportunity arose, we went to Faridabad and they asked us, do you want to go and see Śrīla Maharaj? And we thought, great, this is a great opportunity. And so they said he's going to be at some program at a distance. So it was my first time driving in India, and it was nighttime in Faridabad. I don't know if you know what that's like, but that is quite hellish. Anyhow, we did it. It took about an hour and a half through intense traffic to get to that place. And it was just a small alleyway between houses with a little pandal set up for someone's engagement party. And there was about 10, 15 devotees there. And so it was quite an endeavor for us to get there. And after a few minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes more, Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja arrived. We all offered our pranam. He came in, he spoke for maybe 10 minutes. And then he got up and he left and went back to the mutt he was staying, the old Faridabad mutt. And I remember my first impression of him was, this person is over 80 years old. He's not in the best of health. And he had to traverse an hour and a half through intense traffic just to come to this small little engagement party on the side of some little road somewhere, to give some harikatha, to give some blessing, and then he returned back again. And immediately I was feeling, what kind of humility does this person have? There was nothing that he was manifesting, that I am important, that I am great, that I'm too big for this, I'm too good for this. If you don't give me a crowd of 1,000 or 10,000 people, then I won't attend. These days, that is quite common. So many big, famous people, singers and speakers of Bhagavatam, they will not perform unless there's a sellout crowd of at least 1,000 people, and they need a minimum of 1 lakh rupees, 100,000. And we've been told this by so many people who have hosted them. This is a common thing. But he was not too good for that. For one jiva, he was willing to give his life's blood. And this is the embodiment of the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, that every selfless welfare worker of Gaudiya Math should be ready and willing to expend a minimum of 200 gallons of their own blood for the spiritual upliftment of each individual jiva of this world. And so Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja had this kind of quality that if it was even for one person, even for this small engagement party, yet he gave so much energy for their spiritual upliftment. And apparently it was also for mine, because I happened to be there and witness this great glory. In this case, I'm remembering what Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja told about humility. How do we, as sadhakas, develop humility? Generally, we think it's, oh, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, you're so great and I'm so low. Let me touch your feet, and then we can have a foot touching contest, grabbing each other's feet and pretending that we're so humble. I'm the lowest of the low. I'm lower than a worm in stool. We say all of these things, but do we really mean it? Do we really believe it? But Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja explained that real humility is not some contrivance from the material realm, from the mundane realm. He said real humility develops in the association of true Vaishnavas who are actually humble. They're really great, but they feel themselves so low and insignificant. And I can see how great they are compared to me. So if they're feeling themselves so low and insignificant, then how can I pretend to be the sun in front of them? They're the sun in front of this firefly. So he said, by being in their association and witnessing their humility, this is what will awaken, I'm going to refer to it as paramartik humility. We have something known as paramartik shraddha. That is transcendentally descending shraddha, which awakens shraddha within our hearts. In the same way, humility is not a material contrivance, some kind of development of my own making. Real humility, or Vaishnava humility, is the product of associating with Vaishnavas and seeing their greatness. And in their association, then Vaishnava humility can develop. So seeing his humility, of course, I have not developed humility, but I feel that I have admired his humility. As I mentioned previously, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita refers to himself very, very poorly, that I am lower than a worm in stool. I'm more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. I'm so low and contemptible. This is how he refers to himself. Haridas Thakur refers to himself like this as well. We saw in, the cleaning of the Gundicha temple. At that time, Mahaprabhu told everyone to sit for prasad and called Haridas, come here for prasad. And Haridas said, no, I will stay outside. I'm untouchable, I'm contemptible, and I will only receive the remnants of your prasad afterward. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu allowed him to have that mood, consented. So the Vaishnavas have this kind of humility. Now, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja explained that, of course, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is not like this. But we should see that he has this humility. When they are seeing Krishna, the greatness of Krishna, when they're seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the greatness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they feel that I am nothing. Srimati Radhika feels that way about herself. And this is also expressed through the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that I don't even have a scent of prem. Rupa Goswami says that I don't even have a sesame seed of bhakti. But because you, O Krishna, you have the power to make the impossible possible. So please always allow the bumblebee of my mind to go to your lotus feet, which are like reddish lotus flowers. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says that Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamitas Smaranena Kala Etadrishi Tabakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Idrisham Ihajani Nanuragaha. I am so low, I am so fallen, I am so far away from anything divine. Dur Daiva, right? Dur Daiva means so distant from any divinity that I have no attraction or attachment to your holy names. So this is the nature of those who are truly pure, those who are truly great. Even Ananta Shesha with his millions of mouths, this is told in Chaitanya Bhagavat chapter 1 by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, has been endeavoring to glorify Krishna since time without beginning. And he feels incapable of even scratching the surface of Krishna's unlimited glories. And yet we feel, oh, I'm good, I'm doing good, I'm great, I'm a good speaker, I'm good at kirtan, I'm good at all of these things, I'm the best. I'm doing good in bhakti. But those who are truly devoted, those who are true Vaishnavas, they always feel themselves inadequate. And this is quite interesting because part of the nature of bhakti is that one would feel satisfied. Bhakti paresha anubhavo, one would feel themselves nourished and satisfied. But actually, the proof of the increase of bhakti, the increase of spiritual humility and everything, would be that one's thirst for Krishna bhakti will always increase. So Krishna Trishna is something that always increases. And the more that one is serving and the better that one serves, the more one will feel that I'm not qualified or capable, and they will always endeavor to, as our Gurudev would say, better serve Krishna, better serve Gurudev. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja showed immediately, the first thing that I witnessed of him in this case was his humility and his mercy, this daya, his kripa, his endeavor to help even one jiva, somehow or other, to turn them by his kindness, by his affection, to turn them toward Krishna and to attract them towards serving Krishna. The very next day, again, we have received the opportunity to go and see him. And so we went to the Faridabad Math, and we were all sitting in the park. The first thing that we noticed, Sudevi and I noticed, was that most of those who were serving our Srila Gurudev at the time of our Gurudev's last days, the last few months, all of those who were in the internal service in terms of medical and cooking and cleaning and taking care of our Gurudev, most of those persons were sitting there at waiting for Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja. And also other persons that we knew since we were babies. For example, Vrindavan Vilasini Didi. We've known her since I was 1 year old. She was there in Los Angeles. And 1 year old. Vaijanti Mala Didi. Devotees that we've seen, Shamarani Didi, over the years, who have been consistent, solid, non-stop, who are dedicated in service, dedicated in their practice. All of these people were sitting there waiting for Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja. And we were thinking, that's our group. That's our people. That's where I affiliate myself. And so it was quite interesting to witness this group that was sitting there. And so they asked me at that time to sing. And I was singing Ebaro Kuruna Koro Vaishnava Goshai when Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja came with Madhav Priya Prabhu into that assembly in the park. And so I continued singing it until the end. And then when I finished, he said, "Very nice kirtan. What is your name?" Now, I have to jump back a little bit. They told us that he doesn't speak to anyone, that he just comes, he speaks from Shastra. He doesn't speak Rasik things like our Gurudev speaks. He only speaks Srimad Bhagavatam. He will come out, he will speak. He won't ask anyone to stand up or speak. He doesn't ask questions to anyone. He just comes and gives Harikatha and he goes back to his room. So this was the impression. They said, don't expect anything like Gurudev. He's his own personality. He's different. And I said, that's fine. Everyone's an individual. So, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, he said, oh, you sang this kirtan, Ebaro Kurana. First he said, what is your name? And I said, oh, Kishori Mohan Das. He said, Kishori Mohan. He said, what is the meaning of Kishori Mohan? I said, oh no, he's asking a question. I said, Kishori means Srimati Radhika. And Mohan means, and he cut me off. He cut it. He said, Mohan means Krishna, the attractor of Srimati Radhika. And he said, you saying this kirtan? Ebaro Kurana Koro? I said, yes. He said, stand up, stand up and speak about the meaning. And whatever you don't tell, the remnants of that, then I will speak. And so immediately I thought, my Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he had just started me standing up and speaking in front of him. For years, he had us traveling around the world and speaking publicly and whatever, but there's a completely different thing to speak in front of Gurudev. You forget your name. You forget everything. You lose your thought process. Your heart starts pounding. I swear, I was seeing everything in 2 dimensions. I couldn't see spatial depth or anything when I had to speak in front of my Gurudev. He said that he also used to be like that in front of his Gurudev. So we don't have to feel bad about that. But immediately, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, she said, stand up and speak. So I stood up and I offered my pranam. I started speaking about this Ebaro Kuruna Koro Vaishnava Goshai to the best of my ability. And then after some time, Madhav Priya Prabhu signaled me, okay, time to stop. And I was waiting for Śrīla Maharaj to continue speaking about this bhajan. But he did not. He just said, are there any questions? And so a few devotees raised their hand, but mine was fast and higher than anyone else's. And he looked at me, yes. And I said, some devotees are telling that if someone is to become one's Shiksha Guru, they must have been physically close with your Diksha Guru, otherwise they can't be your Shiksha Guru. Now this was being told in many places by many different groups of initiates by Srila Gurudev. Those who were initiated by Gurudev, so many different groups were telling that if you want a Shiksha Guru, then they have to have been physically close to your own Gurudev. They must have physically served your Gurudev Otherwise, they cannot be your Shiksha Guru. It is impossible. And so I told him this. I said, I don't accept it, but can you please shed some light on this point? And he said, we have never heard such things. And he quoted one verse from the Puranas, which tells that the sun and the lotus flower, although they are so far away from each other, yet their relationship is so close that the lotus flower blooms upon the presence of the sun. Same with the moon and the night lotus. Although there's so much distance between them, still their relationship is so close that the night lotus blooms upon the presence of the moon. And the peacock and the monsoon rain cloud. When that monsoon rain cloud begins to thunder, immediately the peacock begins to dance. Although there's so much distance, still their relationship is so close that he begins to dance and reciprocate with that thunderous monsoon rain cloud. He said, so physical proximity is not the barometer. It is a matter of the mood in the heart. And that coincided with everything that I heard my Gurudev speak over so many years, and everything I witnessed of my Gurudev, what he himself embodied over so many years, that it is a matter of the mood in the heart. We didn't see any physical example of Srila Gurudev constantly meeting with Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj. We know of one meeting. Our Gurudev told it very clearly that they had a meeting. They discussed so many things. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj was explaining that they were trying to silence him at every step, but Gurudev spoke about this one meeting. So we know about one physical meeting, maybe two, but one for sure. And yet so many disciples of Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj came to our Gurudev for nourishment, for shelter. He embraced them, he accepted them, and he gave them nectar. He nourished them. And it resonated with them that, yes, my Gurudev was saying the same things. And this is the same essential teaching that my Gurudev was giving. And so they were able to feel fully nourished, fully inspired, fully awakened by Srila Gurudev's mercy. And he didn't take away from their Gurudev. He only inspired more and more. Now, our Srila Gurudev, I'm bringing this together with what Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was doing. Our Srila Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Gosvāmī Mahārāja, quite often when he was telling pastimes, especially Rathayatra Prasanga, different pastimes also of how Krishna went to Vrindavan from Dwarka. He would say that I thought that this pastime was only in my heart. How is it possible? He said it's so amazing that Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj also is witnessing this same pastime. And so from the outside, we see that they met once, but inside, even one time Gurudev said it, how is it possible he has gone into my heart and pulled this out, Gurudev said. How intimate and deep is their relationship that he can enter into his heart, or that they are together witnessing the same Leela in those details. Gurudev said we can't find any proof of where it's written. It is there, but we have not found it yet. We're doing research for this pastime. Some persons have heard it, but Gaur Govinda Maharaj is telling, and I am telling. So how deep is their relationship internally? And this is a very important point. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Maharaj speaks about the relationship between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī. We know that they did not have much time physically. Rupa Gosvāmī met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramakeli. And then again, he met with him in Dwadash Aditya Tila and heard the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Rupa Gosvāmī that you should go to Vrindavan. Also, Rupa Gosvāmī was there in Jagannath Puri during the Rath Yatra, and he also wrote that verse, Anarpita Charing Cherat Kurine Abatir Nakalo, that Mahaprabhu liked very much, except for the last line. But Swarup Damodar Goswami, Raya Ramananda, and all others said, this is the best line, you keep it. So Mahaprabhu sent him to Vrindavan. You go to Vrindavan. And there, you should establish my heart. Means re-establish the deities, all the holy places, and also develop, not develop, but manifest transcendental literature, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So Rupa Goswami, although he has so much physical distance from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was in Puri, and Rupa Goswami is in Vrindavan, yet Srila Rupa Goswami is that person who is glorified as establishing in this world the inner heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Now, our Srila Gurudev would speak about Rupa Goswami, that Rupa Goswami is so near and dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's that as if everything Mahaprabhu wanted to tell, he told through the medium of Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami is like the pen of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then our Gurudev told that Rupa Goswami is like the flute of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even where Mahaprabhu himself cannot go, the flute song can go. So Rupa Goswami's teachings are what Mahaprabhu wanted to give everywhere. And then afterward he said Rupa Goswami is the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, the exact confirmation for that in different words, we heard from Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja. He was explaining about Rupa Goswami's relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That how intimate and close are Rupa Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami, one second. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was saying that Srila Rupa Goswami is so near and dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he can dive freely deep into the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Mahaprabhu's willing submission to that yes, you are completely free to dive into my heart, collect whatever you like, and to distribute to this world. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja explained that there are so many kinds of friends. We have friends who may come to your house. Some they have to announce in advance, right? They have to send you a text or give a phone call. I haven't seen you in a long time. Would it be okay if we visit? And you say, I'm busy right now, but how about we set a date for a few days from now? Then there are those friends who can come to your door. They can just ring your doorbell, knock on your door, and you very happily welcome. You set them at the table, you'll bring water, and you'll hang out there and talk. And then there are those other friends. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja is speaking about the depth of friendship and affection. There are those other friends that will come anytime, unannounced. They'll come in, they'll jump on your bed, they'll go through your stuff, go through your fridge. And not only do you not feel annoyed, but you actually feel delighted and happy that they have come and they make themselves completely at home, that there are no restrictions between you. They are so close and dear to your heart. So he explained that Rupa Goswami is like this for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now his words are different than that of our Gurudev. The way our Gurudev told it is different than the way that Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja told it. But they are both explaining the same jeweled principle from a slightly different angle of vision. They are supporting and nourishing each other's moods by their instruction. And this is the ideal of Shiksha Guru Tattva. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was for us, as disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, nourishing what our Gurudev had already given us, supporting it and increasing our conviction and faith in the teachings of our Gurudev. And that is the function of Shiksha Guru, as our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj told, that the function of Shiksha Guru is not to take you for themselves. It is to increase your faith, your nishta, your conviction in the lotus feet of your Diksha Guru. Anyone who fails to do that, they are not your Shiksha Guru. What to speak of that, he said, they're not even a Vaishnava, because they would be forsaking the foremost duty of a Vaishnava or Shiksha Guru, which is to increase your faith and your conviction, your nishta in the lotus feet of your own Gurudev. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja did not try to take anyone's heart for himself. Even was it Shyamarani Didi, she asked him, why should I give you my heart? And he said, you shouldn't, I don't want it. And she was like, oh. Immediately, it was a surprise for, oh, you don't want my heart. And immediately she gave her heart. So how do we reconcile this? It was Vrindavan Vilasini Didi who asked our Srila Gurudev. She said, I only have room for Prabhupada in my heart, so how can I make room for you in my heart? And Srila Gurudev explained that your heart will have to expand. He said your heart will have to expand to accommodate us both. But not only us, also our whole Rupanuga Guru Varga. And then it will have to open to expand to be able to accommodate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he is not alone. He is there with all of his eternal associates and Navadvip Dham. So your heart will have to open and expand to accommodate all of them. And then it will have to open more to expand and accommodate for Krishna. But he is not alone. He is there with Srimati Radhika, millions of gopis, millions of cowherd boys, millions of cows and calves, all of his parents, and Vrindavan Dham and Govardhan and Jamuna and everything. So your heart will have to open to expand to accommodate all of them. So this is the principle of opening and expanding. As Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj called that transcendental realm, he referred to it as the land of gurus. All are guru in that realm. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, he spoke about this Ebara Kurana Koro, but not directly. He had said we had never heard such a thing as this idea that being physically close to Diksha Guru is the requirement for being Shiksha Guru. He said we've never heard such things. It is a matter of the mood in the heart, the closeness of the mood in the heart. In fact, we have heard that our Srila Gurudev said that of all of Gaudiya Math, his mood is closest to mine. His mood is closest to mine. And we have witnessed them together, how they were interacting during Kartik, when they would sit together and how they would interact. Sometimes Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja would host the Rupa Goswami conference, sometimes our Gurudev, sometimes other Vaishnavas. But our Gurudev and his moods were very, very close. I didn't ever hear Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja mention the name of my Gurudev directly. But everything that came out of his mouth was nourishing and supporting my faith in the teachings, the conceptions, the moods of my Gurudev. There's another term for that, the moods, conceptions, and teachings, that is called the lotus feet. When our acharyas say attachment to their lotus feet, it doesn't just mean the physical lotus feet, it means their moods, their teachings, their conceptions. So he increased that conviction in my Gurudev by thousands of folds. So it was interesting that during that first conversation in the garden outside of the Faridabad Math, that Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, through the medium of answering the questions of all of the other devotees that were present, actually answered or completed speaking about this bhajan. He was speaking to one and the next and the next, because he had told initially that I will take whatever remnant, means whatever I didn't speak about, and I will complete telling about this Ebara Kurana Koro Vaishnava Goshai bhajan. And in the process of discussing with the other Vaishnavas, he actually told the rest of it. And this is another nature of Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, that he is Satya Vrat. Means he always told the truth. He's like one of the last of the rare breed of truth tellers. He never deviated from that. He even told that at the time of initiation, they told him, now you must make a vow to never sleep in the daytime. He said, I'm sorry, I can't make that vow. They said, but that's a requirement for initiation. He said, how can I make that vow? What if I'm sick and I sleep in the daytime because of my sickness? Then I will be breaking that vow. I will not make that vow. This kind of truth, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja would tell. And he was so honest. When he would tell the truth, it wasn't like someone would feel upset or threatened or offended by it. That was just his nature. Now, people always become upset or confronted by truth. They say that truth tellers have no friends. But because he had no politics within himself, he followed Guru Sadhu Shastra to the T, exactly as it is. When he spoke the truth, it was like he was the truth. He was that, what is it? The scale, you know? They have that outside of the court, she's blind and she's blindfolded and she only knows the truth. She doesn't discriminate between what someone looks like or between what somebody said, this or that. She follows the truth exactly 100%. I can't remember what they call her, Lady Anyway, Lady Justice, there you go. So he was like pure truth, always emanating from himself. He always spoke the truth. And this is an amazing quality because he was fearless to speak the truth. These days, so many persons, they will be careful about speaking the truth or doing the right thing out of fear that someone might not like them or someone might reproach them some way, or maybe they would have less followers or they might lose their position. But Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja had zero concern for all of that. He was only following the path of truth and the path of Shastra, the path of righteousness. So much so that at the ripe old age of 85 or 87 years old, although he was serving within the mission of his own Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Bhakti Dayata Madhav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, for all of those years, at a certain point, some of the orphaned followers, disciples of our Srila Gurudev, had taken shelter of him. And he wanted to also accommodate them for the parikrama. But they said, oh, we have no space for them. You can come, but they can't come. And he said, but I have given them shelter. They are now with me. So if they can't come, then how can I go? So he had this mood of giving shelter and this mood of honesty and sincerity, so much so that at the ripe age of 87, he had to depart from the external society of his Guru Maharaj, where so many difficulties were there over so many years. But in this situation, because they had been unfair and unjust to those who had taken shelter of him, he had to give preference to those who had taken shelter of him, who were disrespected. And so he left that situation because he could not tolerate the injustice. In this connection, he would glorify Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. That Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada had such a nature that he would tolerate thousands and thousands of insults upon himself. So much abuse to himself. But if there was abuse to Vaishnavas, or if there was disrespect or an antagonism toward the pure process of bhakti, or to any pure devotee, then immediately he would become like fire, and he would defeat all of those misconceptions and fight if there was aparad to Krishna, to Vaishnavas, or to the path of bhakti, even to the point of bringing them to court. So he said that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada would leave no stone unturned when it came to defending them. But for himself, he would tolerate thousands of millions of insults and abuses. So this is quite an interesting subject because many people misunderstand this. Oh, we have to be tolerant. Trinadapi sunichena tarodapi sahishnuna. And they apply it wholeheartedly to everything, except for themselves. If someone abuses me, I become angry. But if someone abuses or goes against my Gurudev or against the pure teachings of bhakti or against Krishna, oh, we must be tolerant. We must be forgiving. We must be affectionate and kind and accepting of everything and everyone. But this is exactly against the principles of bhakti, of pure bhakti. So in this case, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja also spoke about humility in terms of Hanuman and Arjuna, that they exhibited their humility by fighting. This is also humility, if you are qualified to do so, and defending Hari, Guru, Vaishnavas, and the path of bhakti, then this is humility. So many of us have this misconceived notion of humility, but he followed the idea of the pure acharyas, like Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who said it is thoroughly inappropriate and against the mood of humility to remain silent or not do anything or say anything if someone is going against the pure conceptions of our Guru Varga, against Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. This is actually against the conception of humility. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja followed these principles exactly. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, I'm coming back to the park now. So as he was finishing his katha, he left and he was going back to the temple. At that time, one devotee ran up to me and they said, Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja sent you this. He told me to give you his garland, and he placed the garland on me. He said, Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja just sent it for you. And I was feeling so fortunate. Oh, he's showing me some affection, some kindness, some... He actually was melting me. It's not like I came to him in a mood of humility, but he was exuding affection and kindness toward me, which was naturally melting my heart. And then the next day, we went to see him again. This time he was speaking inside the mutt, Faridabad, the old Faridabad mutt temple. And I remember as I was watching him speak, there was something special about the way he would speak. The way he would speak about tattva or rasa was so simple and easy to understand. And he would have Madhav Priya Prabhu translate quite often, or what was his name? Madhukar Prabhu? Bhakti Kinkar Damodar Maharaj.
Yes.
He would have them translate, but he would listen very carefully because he was also expert in English. And so he knew Hindi, Bangla, Uriya, and English. And he would listen very carefully, and then he would say, did you say this? Or he would add something. But when he would speak, it was so interesting because I felt like I tend, when I'm hearing, sometimes it would go in one ear and out the other. And this was before Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja. I had this tendency, but somehow when he would speak, it would feel like it would go in and weigh really heavy inside. I was like, oh my God, that's sitting inside me. And then a day or two or a week later, I could almost repeat the entire class verbatim. And I was like, how is this possible? He's placing it inside my heart. It was quite impressive. So I was sitting there listening and watching him. I was like, how is he doing this? This is quite amazing. And as I was listening to him, there was this big, big picture of our Gurudev just behind him. Now, for me, it had meaning. And in India, they like to add things to pictures. So they had this effulgence coming out of Gurudev's hand as he's blessing. And that effulgence was going right toward Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja. And he was speaking. And I was like, oh my God, he's telling me what my Gurudev wants me to hear. And so I was listening as he was speaking. And I remember very, very specifically 2 pastimes. One, he was speaking about the power of a moment's association with a pure devotee. Now, this was one of his specialities, as Madhukar Prabhu told in the beginning, that Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was always speaking about the power of association with and serving Vaishnavas. Je Vaishnava Sevile Achintya Krishna Pai. This verse I learned from Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja. Just this part. And Sudevi learned it in a half an hour, so quickly. Je Vaishnava Sevile Achintya Krishna Pai. By serving the Vaishnavas, and only by this process can one attain the inconceivable mercy of Krishna. Can one attain to Krishna? Only by Vaishnava Seva. And this was a prominent theme that was always the, I would say, heavy undercurrent of everything that he spoke, everything that he did. His whole nature and being was that. So even if he didn't speak it, you would feel it, you would see it, you would know it. Vaishnava Seva was flowing from his pores. It was his nature. It is his nature. And he explained that Krishna himself says that whoever says they are my devotee, they're not really my devotee, but who is the devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. Aradhananam sarvesham vishnur aradhana param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Mahadev Shiva is speaking to his consort. Of all worshipable personalities, Vishnu is the topmost. Aradhananam sarvesham. Vishnur aradhana param. Vishnu or Krishna is the topmost. But tasmat, there is something more than that, O Devi, parataram Devi, tadiyanam samarchanam. to serve, to worship that person who is near and dear to Krishna. That means his devotee. To serve them, this is superior to serving the Lord himself. So many demons, as we've heard, have attained to Krishna. Asura Sakala Pailo Charana. They've attained the feet of Krishna, but not necessarily pure devotional service to Krishna. We are not interested in attaining Krishna. Our goal is Krishna Prem, loving service to Krishna. And that is kept within the hearts of Ashray Tattva, the pure devotees of Krishna. So bhakti is awakened in the association of bhaktas. So tadiyanam samarchanam, to serve that person who has love and affection for Krishna, who is near and dear to Krishna. As Krishna says, sadhava hridaya mahyam, sadhava hridaya tvaham, that I only know my devotees and they only know me. And I am not at all independent. Actually, this was the first class I heard from Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja on the field there. He was speaking about Durvasa from this bhajan. Ebara kurana koro, haristhane aparadhe tare harinam tomastane aparadhe nahiko eran. There it is said that if one offends Krishna, then if one chants Harinam, they can be absolved of that offense. Tare Harinam. But tomastane aparadhe, to offend a Vaishnava, to offend the lotus feet of any Vaishnava, tomastane aparadhe, there is no hope for deliverance. So he was speaking that Durvasa Muni went to everyone for help as the chakra of Narayan was burning his back. Why? Because he had offended Ambarish Maharaj trying to kill him. Because of a very small offense, today is the day after Ekadashi, Paran. So Ambarish Maharaj did not want to offend Ekadashi Devi. So he was advised that taking Charanamrit was not considered breaking. It was breaking and not breaking. So he honored that Charanamrit. Durvasa had stayed away knowingly and became completely angry to such an extent that he wanted to kill Ambarish Maharaj. So he ripped a dreadlock out of his head, threw it at the ground, made a fiery demoness named Katya, and ordered him to kill Ambarish Maharaj. Immediately, Narayan's chakra destroyed that fiery demon and then went chasing after Durvasa. Durvasa ran everywhere at the speed of mind. He was a very powerful mystic yogi. He went to every place seeking some kind of relief as chakra was chasing him and burning his back. He went to Brahma. Brahma's like, that's not my responsibility. I cannot help you. This is the chakra of Narayan. He went to Lord Shiva. Help me, I'm burning. Sorry, this is the chakra of Narayan. So finally he went to Narayan. Help me, I'm burning. And Narayan said, I'm sorry. He said, if you receive a thorn in your foot, this is how our Gurudev would tell it, can you remove it from your head? Durvasa understood the deep meaning of the words of Narayan, that I have offended his pure devotee and yet I'm trying to go to him for deliverance. It doesn't work like that. So immediately Durvasa went back and fell at the feet of Ambarish Maharaj. Please forgive me for my offense. Ambarish Maharaj immediately picked him up and embraced him. He said, there is no offense on your part. Whatever comes to me is the result of my own karma. Tattenu kampam susamikshamano. And please, Durvasa was burning. He said, if there's any benefit from my austerity, oh Chakra, please be merciful and leave him. So by the prayer of Ambarish Maharaj, the Chakra departed. And Durvasa then showed to the world the glory of Ambarish Maharaj. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was telling this pastime of the greatness of a Vaishnava, of the humility and the nature of Ambarish Maharaj. But now I'm coming back. I think somebody wrote, can you reword the question? I'm not fully able to understand what you wrote. Oh, can you please specify how to understand that some devotee criticized Srila Gurudev?
Sarveshwari Mataji, maybe you can explain what you meant?
Sorry, I know English speaking.
I speak very quickly also.
What I want to say, how you can understand that there is a parada against Srila Gurudev or any advanced Vaishnava, because sometimes it's language between two advanced Vaishnavas. For example, when Srila Rupa Goswami and the Vallabhacharya and Jiva Goswami, this past time that the Jiva Goswami he took like a offense to his Gurudev. It was a language, and both was right. Rupa Goswami was right, and Jiva Goswami was right. But sometimes it's not a language between two advanced Vaishnavas, and we take they criticize our Gurudev or any advanced Vaishnava. So how you can be sure that this the statement is really a parad and to just because sometimes some devotees just react, and then
Yes.
but sometimes it's language between them and we don't understand. So what can you have some, because you're close to Gurudev, can you please have some specify something or say something about that? Thank you.
Okay. Madhukar Prabhu, remind me to come back to Faridabad Mat when Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja is speaking about Vishvamitra and Vasishta. Okay? So, in this case, our Śrīla Gurudev actually specifically spoke on this subject matter, and so I'll try to make it very concise. That Vallabhacharya was wrong in his understanding and assessment of what Śrīla Rupa Goswami had written. He was taking exception to what Rupa Goswami had written in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about bhukti mukti spriha yavata pishachi. That bhukti, the desire for sense gratification, and mukti, the desire for liberation, this is like a witch. And he said, how can you say that bhukti and mukti are like a witch? That all Shastra is glorifying mukti. So why are you saying that it is like a witch and that it is unfavorable? And so Rupa Goswami said, out of humility, if you find that there's something wrong, then you can adjust it, you can correct it, or anything like that. But then Jiva Goswami brought Vallabhacharya aside or met him at the river because he could not tolerate that his guru was being criticized, or his words, his teachings. And so Jiva Goswami then explained to Vallabhacharya, it wasn't a bitter kind of thing. He didn't see that there was aparad or anything, only that Vallabhacharya had misread it. So he explained to him, Dandavat, Pranam Prabhu. But what Rupa Goswami is saying, that the desire for bhukti and mukti, this is unfavorable for bhakti. It is like a witch which captures your mind. It is not that mukti itself is the witch, but the desire for it. And this is told in the verse, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma adi anavritam. That bhakti cannot be covered by these things. It should not be covered or given these things, the desire for mukti and sense gratification, bhukti, should not be given prominence over bhakti. The bhakti is superior to all of these things. So Jiva Goswami made this adjustment. And then Vallabhacharya went back to Rupa Goswami, oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. And then Rupa Goswami reacted in a very special way, because Vallabhacharya is very senior in terms of age, in terms of diksha and everything else. So there's a proper element of respect that is necessary. And yet, if there's some misunderstanding in terms of bhakti, then also there is a necessity to speak the truth. So Rupa Goswami showed in front of Vallabhacharya that he was teaching his disciple Jiva Goswami. Our Gurudev explained it like this, that I don't want any disciple like you who is criticizing the senior Vaishnavas. If Rupa Goswami would not have done this, then Vallabhacharya would have accused Rupa Goswami of improperly teaching his disciples. And so Srila Gurudev explained that all of this was necessary to maintain proper Vaishnava decorum, proper Vaishnava etiquette. And yet what Jiva Goswami did was proper and correct. And Gurudev said that if we do not behave like Jiva Goswami, he told this on the appearance day of Jiva Goswami in Perth. He said, if we do not defend the teachings of our Gurudev, then we are nothing more than an impotent eunuch. He said, if anyone goes against the teachings of our Gurudev, we must defend these teachings. How we defend it, that is something else. We can defend it in a mood which is offensive, or we can do it in a mood which is defensive, or very carefully. If there are senior Vaishnavas involved, then we must do it extremely carefully. And yet we cannot refrain from speaking the truth. And our Gurudev actually gave the example. He said, once upon a time, a very, very senior Vaishnava spoke something not during the time of my Gurudev, but after my Gurudev departed. For many years, we were performing one festival and no one spoke anything against it. But after the departure of my Gurudev, then this devotee said something against that. And he said, so I had to speak something, and I spoke it. And he said, if one does not do this, if one does not defend the teachings of their Gurudev, then this is not the meaning of disciple. Disciple must have so much conviction, so much faith in the transcendental words of their Gurudev, that they should be able to strongly represent their Gurudev by explaining his teachings and defending his teachings from those, even if it might be a senior Vaishnava. And Gurudev also gave this example, that once there was a meeting of disciples of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And in that meeting, someone spoke something which was apasiddhanta, means against the true conceptions of the teachings of Shastra. And so our Gurudev, who is junior to them, he is their nephew. He's a disciple of our Param Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Gosvāmī Mahārāja. He could not tolerate it, so he stood up and he mentioned that actually you have not understood this idea properly. That what Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was actually saying was this and this. And they said, how do you know? You weren't there. You don't know. You haven't seen him. We're his disciples. You are his grand disciple. How can you say something like this? And he said, I have actually seen him. I have actually seen him through the vision of my Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Gosvāmī Mahārāja. You have not properly seen him. You have not properly heard him. Your ears have cheated you. But I have seen him properly through this vision, the vision of my Gurudev. So they actually approached our Param Gurudev, that your disciple, Junior, is saying that we are wrong, we have misunderstood our Gurudev, and that he is right because he is seen through your understanding, your vision. And our Param Gurudev, he said, my Gurudev was so kind and affectionate that he sided with me. He said, yes, actually it is true. He has seen properly because he has seen through my understanding, my vision, but you have actually misunderstood what he has said. So there are also necessities for qualification. Necessities for qualification when it comes to these things. That one must be properly qualified when they are able to, or have the audacity to stand up to defend their Gurudev. But with simple things. There are some simple ideas where our Gurudev has, in fact, repeated the same thing thousands of times and tried to get us to understand something in a very simple way. And someone would come into Gurudev's temple and literally, physically dismiss what our Gurudev has spoken on the subject matter, claiming that actually this was only being spoken for time, place, and circumstance. Now let me introduce the new conception so that you can understand the truth. In other words, your Gurudev was just deceiving you for all of these years. And now I'm going to tell you the truth. What he said is no longer applicable. Literally, they made that hand gesture. If we fail to speak up at such a time, then we're nothing more than an impotent eunuch. We are not a disciple. We are a lazy excuse for a disciple. So to always represent our Gurudev and his teachings, this is so important. Yesterday, Sudevi was quoting our Srila Gurudev. Actually, we heard him in the morning telling that those disciples that develop nishtha at the time of their Gurudev, firm conviction in the teachings, the conceptions, and the moods of their Gurudev, upon the departure of their Gurudev, if they hear anything which is opposed to his teachings and conceptions, they will remain firm and strong and hold on to the teachings of their Gurudev. But those who are very weak, anyone will come with any opposite or different conclusion, and they will just go with that flow. This is a sign of spiritual weakness, Gurudev was saying. It's a sign of lack of nishtha. So there must be some kind of qualification, some kind of connectedness within the heart. But if we hear something that is clearly opposed to the teachings of our Gurudev, it doesn't matter who's speaking it. We can very humbly approach them and say, Prabhu, my Gurudev spoke this 1,000 times, and what you're speaking is opposite. I heard Srila Bhakti Kamal Govinda Maharaj. he said something which sounded a little bit different from the teaching of our Gurudev. And we approached him and we told him. And he said, oh, Śrīla Narayan Maharaj is speaking like this? And his humility was such that he immediately changed his conception and began preaching the teaching of our Gurudev. It was something, a humility that he manifested that was just so beautiful. There was a simplicity within his heart, but he had so much faith in the teaching of our Śrīla Gurudev. So even though he's so much senior to us, when we heard it, it didn't resonate in our heart. And so we approached him that this seems different and it's causing confusion in my heart. Can you please reconcile? This is what our Gurudev said. And that's not offensive. That's not wrong. But he actually adjusted to accommodate our Gurudev's teaching. So there's so many different conceptions to speak on this. So Devi just showed me the clock and said, oh my God, I can't believe I've been speaking for that long. Sorry, I'm speaking for so long. I thought it was like 20 minutes. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, he spoke about the power of a moment's association. Basically, Vishvamitra, he was doing intense austerities for thousands and thousands of years, and he wanted a title. What was that title? He wanted to be known as Rajarshi. No, Vashishta is known as Maharishi, the great Rishi, Maharshi Vashishta. And he's the guru of Ramachandra and all of those in Ayodhya, Vashishta. Now, Vishvamitra was doing intense austerities and he was going everywhere and he wanted everyone to sign a proclamation, declaration that I am a Rajarshi, the king of all other rishis. And Vashishta just could not do that because he was also a Satyavrat. Means he's always an honest person telling the truth. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Maharaj was telling this. So then, Vishvamitra invited Vashishta, you come to my home, and he made a big feast and tried to appease him so that he would sign his declaration. He served him in so many wonderful ways, and Vashishta still would not sign it. So then, and he honored him by giving him some donation, 1,000 years of my austerity, the benefit of my austerity. That was a great gift. Then Vashishta invited Vishvamitra. And when Vishvamitra went to Vashishta's place, after their feast and everything else, Vashishta granted Vishvamitra the benefit of one moment of sadhu sangha, one moment of association with a pure Vaishnava. Vishvamitra was like, that's not fair. In front of him, he was like, thank you so much. But then he got really upset. I gave him 1,000 years of my austerity and he only gives me one moment of association with the devotee. Then Vishvamitra made a court case against Vashishta. How is this fair that I gave him 1,000 years of my austerity and he only gave me one moment of association with a sadhu? So then this court case ended up going to higher courts. It went to Lord Brahma. It went to Yamaraj. They went everywhere. Finally, they all brought it to the great, great balancer of the entire creation. That is Ananta Shesha, who balances the universes on his head. They went there and Vishvamitra pleaded his case. I gave him 1,000 years of my austerity, but he only gave me one moment of sadhu sangha. How is this fair? What is the power of a moment's association with a sadhu? Ananta Shesha was thinking, wow, this is a very big subject. How great is this? Is a moment of association with a sadhu? So he was thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. And he said to Vishvamitra, he said, perhaps if one of these universes was removed from my head, then I would be able to come up with the answer more quickly. So, here, can you hold this for me while I'm thinking of the answer? So, Vishvamitra is like, yeah, sure, I'm very powerful. I can hold a universe. And so he was holding this universe. He was holding the universe, one of the universes, for Ananta Shesha, as Ananta Shesha was thinking of the glories of a moment's association with a sadhu. As Vishvamitra is holding this universe, he is wearing out all of the benefit of all of his thousands and thousands of years of austerity. And he was becoming weak over time. And he was thinking, how is this possible? I'm not able to hold this anymore. And then Anantashesha says to him, is there anything else that you have, anything that you have, that you can hold this universe up with? And he said, only the gift of Vashishta, this moment's association with the sadhu. And he said, so use that. And immediately he was able to lift it up as if it was floating on its own. So I heard this from Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, that the power of a moment's association is more powerful than millions of years of austerity. All of the kinds of material austerity that we can do that gives us so much material power is nothing compared to a moment's association with a sadhu. After that, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja told another pastime that really deeply sunk in my heart, because I had a feeling from quite young, because I was born and raised in ISKCON, witnessing so many of the temple presidents and temple commanders having a mood of, you could say, dismissal, or even I felt disrespect toward some of the life membership persons. When we were young, they would bring us to their homes. We would hang out with their children. They would arrange prasadam for us. There was so much affection and love and caring. And then I overheard temple presidents and temple commanders speaking like, basically we should milk them for as much money as they can give. And I was feeling that that wasn't very kind. It wasn't very nice. The idea wasn't very nice. And it was not sitting well within my heart. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was speaking about really the power of a moment's association with a pure devotee of Krishna. He said that once upon a time, Krishna and his friends, they were traveling through the forest, bringing their cows and calves out to pasture. At some point when they were near Bhatro, this is in Vrindavan, near Mathura, Akrur Ghat in Bhatro, Krishna and the cowherd boys began to say, oh, Krishna, we're so hungry. So Krishna told the cowherd boys, well, you should go and ask the Yajnik Brahmins. They're doing yajna, but they have so much food. Everyone gives them food. I'm sure they will give you something to eat. So the cowherd boys went to see the Brahmins. Oh, Brahmins, they're all performing yajnas, chanting their mantras, swaha, swaha. Oh, Brahmins, we are so hungry. Please give us something to eat. Can't you see we're doing yajnas? Don't disturb. Bajao. Basically hit the road, don't disturb. And so the cowherd boys returned to Krishna empty-handed. Oh, they wouldn't give us anything. They were too busy with their yajnas. So Krishna said, go back again, but go to their wives, the yajna patnis, the wives of the brahmanas. So at that time, the cowherd boys went to the wives of the Brahmins and they said, we are hungry. Krishna is hungry. Will you give some food? They said, certainly we will give something, and we will also come with you. So they prepared so many things, and they were just about ready to go to the forest to serve Krishna. But first they approached their husbands. We would like to go and serve Krishna. We have brought so many foodstuffs together, and we want to serve Krishna in the forest. And their husbands forbade them to go. If you go, we will reject you forever. You will not be welcome back. You cannot go. They said, anyhow, we're going to go. And their husband said, then our rule stands. So they went to see Krishna in the forest, leaving their husbands behind, forsaking everything. And they brought so many food preparations to serve Krishna. After serving Krishna, Krishna was fully satisfied. Balaram, all of his friends, everyone was satisfied. Then Krishna told these wives of the Brahmanas that you should go back now to your homes. And they said, we can't go. Our husbands told us that if we come here, we are rejected forever. We cannot return. Krishna said, don't worry, everything will be okay. You should go home now. So when they returned home, their husbands were weeping and crying. You are the most fortunate persons in the entire universe. What is the purpose of all of our yajnas, all of our austerities, all of our chanting of mantras? It is to serve the Lord. But we have lost ourselves in all of our practices and rituals. But you have attained the benefit of all of that. You have gone to serve Krishna. So you're the most fortunate. They began to glorify their wives, even weeping and crying and practically worshiping them. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja asked the question, what was it that made their husbands change so drastically within only a period of a couple of hours, from rejecting them to now weeping and glorifying and practically worshiping their own wives? And he said, because their wives had used their energy, the energy of their husbands, all of this food collection in the service of Krishna. That was their currency at that time. They utilized that energy in the service of Krishna. And because of that, their husbands developed a changed heart. So just going back to my previous query, that why take money from some people? Some people are so only absorbed in money and making money, thinking it is sweeter than honey, that they can't really progress very far on the path of bhakti. But if someone collects that money and uses it or utilizes it in the service of Krishna, then this will be extremely beneficial for them, and even gradually their hearts can change and devotion can awaken. Now, what was it that made these wives of the Brahmins have such a strong conviction that we will serve Krishna no matter what, even if our husbands reject us and we are homeless? Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja explained, because they overheard the glories of Krishna from the mouths of the gopis, hearing about the beauty of Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna, the wonderful pastimes of Krishna. This brought about a greed within the hearts of those wives of the Brahmanas that they were willing to give up everything for the service of Krishna. Now, this is the main point of the teaching of Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, that only by associating with those who are pure devotees of Krishna will that awakening of this mood of devotion to Krishna manifest within our hearts. And I wanted to just share a quote from, what is it? Oops. Bhāratī and Achintya. And then I will end. Sorry. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja is explaining that by our own endeavors, we can never become surrendered to the Lord. And this is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Maya Mugdha Jivanahi Svata Krishna Gyan, that the conditioned soul cannot extract himself from the clutches of Maya by his own power or potency. It is only possible by the mercy of pure Vaishnavas. Jai Vaishnava Sevile Achintya Krishna Pai. By serving the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, one can attain service of that Krishna who is Achintya, inconceivable. That personality whom we cannot perceive or conceive of with our senses becomes conceivable by serving the Vaishnavas. That is why the Lord says, service of Vaishnavas is far superior to my own service. Remembrance of Krishna's lotus feet becomes possible only by remembrance of pure Vaishnavas, by which all auspiciousness manifests. By hearing about the conduct and teachings of pure Vaishnavas, one develops detachment from the world and attachment for the lotus feet of the Lord. It is for this reason that we should always remember the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja made this the central point of his teaching, the focus. And he would always again and again say this Guru Vaishnava Smaran, Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tiner Smaran Hoy Sarva Vigya Vinasham. That just to remember the pure devotees, Guru, Vaishnava, and Bhagavan, that by this, all misgivings, all anarthas will be destroyed from our heart, and all auspiciousness will come. So he would always say, even if you don't know the Vaishnava or don't know anything about them, at least say their name and say Jai. Glorify them, state their name, otherwise it will be aparad. They are manifesting their mercy, especially on these days, the days of their appearance and disappearance. And as Madhukar Prabhu said, at least every week, I would say closer to almost every day. These Vaishnavas, especially the godbrother of Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, that is Śrīla Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj, he gave such an amazing treasure in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is it called? And his associates. There are two books. all glorifying all of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't know if we would know much about so many of them without him. And on their days, I read from him he collected all of their glories together in one place, and it is so beautiful and powerful. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja did just that, but with the disciples of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada in his book entitled My Beloved Masters. And in there, he's glorifying all of these disciples of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada and the immense amounts of service that they perform for their Gurudev, what kind of conviction they have. And so the way he is glorifying them, you can tell that he had such deep personal relationship with them, and he was serving them personally. He spoke that he personally was serving and associating with Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja for over 40 years. He was the scribe for our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, when he was making his court cases against his godbrothers who had deviated from the teachings of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So he was already so close to our Param Gurudev, which means that he was also so close to Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, so close to our Srila Gurudev. If he's serving one's Gurudev, what kind of closeness does one develop with such a personality? He was serving our Param Gurudev. He was serving so many of these Vaishnavas, and he manifested this beautiful, beautiful glorification of these personalities. And especially, our Gurudev said that we should always glorify any personality in terms of their service to their own Gurudev. This is how you properly glorify any Vaishnava. Unfortunately, I do not know much about his Gurudev, but when he's speaking about his Gurudev, he was glorifying him in terms of his service to his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. That Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, seeing the immense amounts of service that Srila Bhakti Dayita Madhav Maharaj was performing, referred to him as a non-stop source of energy. In fact, he used the term volcanic energy, that he was constantly serving, like a volcano is constantly serving. This is the kind of service that Srila Bhakti Dayita Madhav Maharaj was performing for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, there is actually an unlimited amount. I thought I would be done after 20 minutes, and I feel like I haven't begun to scratch the surface. So coming full round, I haven't begun to scratch the surface of so many of his wonderful and amazing glories. But Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja, somehow, one thing, after the first night, and I'll end after this, the first night of actually hearing him speak Harikatha, when he sent that garland to me, we went back to the house that we were staying in Faridabad, and I hung the garland up inside the bedroom, and I went to sleep. And that night, he came to me in a dream, and he was so strong and so clear. He said, "If you want pure bhakti," and I was like, yes, because our Gurudev named his society Pure Bhakti, right? If you want pure bhakti, then you have to give 100%. He said, we have given our heads. We have given 100% in the service of our Gurudev, 100%. He said, if you want pure bhakti, you have to give 100%. And I woke up from that in a state of shock. It was like he was sending me this message that was so deep, so true, so real, that only 100% surrender, not half surrender. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was that kind of personality, 100% dedication in the lotus feet of his Gurudev, in the lotus feet of his Guru Varga, in the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the lotus feet of Harinam Prabhu, in the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. Constant dedication. And he told that whatever I speak, even if I can't remember the exact source, the exact location of where it is, you can be assured that whatever I am speaking, it has its source in Shastra. And so he had conviction in that everything that he was speaking was true and was Shastra, that there was nothing that is concocted or made up from this realm. It is all transcendental and descending. So Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was such a person that I felt conviction that if I had not received initiation from my Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, that I certainly would have taken shelter of Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Maharaj. So many devotees, they had asked, do you think I should go to him? I should take initiation from him. And because I would have done that myself, I readily told them, yes, you must go. Don't miss this opportunity. So many devotees had gone to Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Maharaj. And I feel that those who were with our Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and then who subsequently were also receiving nourishment from Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Maharaj, that they are the closest thing to family, to my heart, because the resonation is the same. So I feel very, very indebted to Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Maharaj, that he gave me continued nourishment. And even to this day, on any holy day, I always read from him also, as well as my own Gurudev. And not once, and Sudevi mentioned this yesterday, not once did he disappoint, or did we feel that there was any difference from his teaching and the teaching of our Gurudev. And our Srila Prabhupada said, this is the meaning of Guru is one, that there is no difference of opinion, especially on Tattva Siddhanta, between one or the other. He said, if there is a difference of opinion, then either one of them is a rascal or both are rascals. So there was no difference of opinion from Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Maharaj and from our Srila Gurudev. So on this day, I would like to thank Madhukar Prabhu for giving the opportunity to be able to remember some of my interactions with him, his mercy upon us, his kindness, his nourishment, and his wonderful nature, his wonderful qualities. And I look forward to more opportunities like this. So, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. May he be kind and merciful and awaken within my heart even a particle of his conviction on the path of bhakti. Dandavat pranama Vaishnavas.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Kishore Mohan Prabhu. That was, one second, let me just see.
I'm sorry for speaking for so long.
No, that's totally fine. Actually, something I thought was kind of neat. You were yeah, very beautiful how you explained all of Śrīla Bhakti Maharaj's teachings, and it's mind-blowing how deep he would go into all these topics. But you were mentioning how just a moment, like how he was explaining just a moment's association with the sadhu. I actually never heard that story with Vaishishta and Vishwamitra. That was, but and even though you've for many years you've had the association of Śrīla Bhakti Maharaj, and you've been for so many of his classes and like that, but everything you spoke in this glorification just came from 2 darshans and 1 class. And even that was not enough time to explain just, such a short time with Śrīla Bhakti Maharaj, but to speak of, and it just kind of proves that point, I think, how powerful just a moment's association is with a sadhu. Yeah, very grateful. Haribol, Sudevi.
Say Haribol.
Haribol. Haribol.
Also, Sudevi, you're welcome if you ever, if tomorrow, if you'd like to glorify. I mean, no pressure, but yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. So, our time is up now. I'm going to go for the program there. And Nri Hari Prabhu, I think tomorrow you can glorify Śrīla Bhakti Maharaj, and because I do a program every day at this time, so
I'll see you
have
later.
more time to.
Tomorrow.
So,
Śrīla Bhakti Maharaj taught that we should be consistent with timing, and I failed, so please forgive me.
And tomorrow we can glorify the Bhakti Maharaj. Oh, I hear my program. I can hear my voice. So I think you're watching on YouTube, right? So Nri Hari Prabhu, is that
Śrīla
fine?
Bhakti Maharaj taught that we should be consistent with timing, and
I'm just muting because I think that there's a loop going on right now. But yeah, so we're going to end our program for today, and then tomorrow Nri Hari Prabhu, he will share his glorification of Śrīla Bhāratī Maharaj, and yeah, Jai Shri Radhe. I'll do a short Jai Dwani, and then we'll Jai. I'm going to do an abbreviated Jai Dwani.
Jai Prabhu, Haribol, Haribol.
Yes.
I just wanted to pay my pranams to all devotees and great association, and Sad Augustus association that we have. Kishori is, as always, he can explain things forever. And tomorrow is fine. That's okay. I'm just a little bird. How Kaviraj Goswami says, according to their capacity, they can fly up in the sky. And my glorification is the one of a little bird.
I'm very much looking forward to hearing your glorification.
Right. But it will illustrate a lot of the points that, about Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja. And, but okay, I'm going to quit and tomorrow we talk.
Yes.
Haribo. But thank you, Kishore Mohan Prabhu.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Jai Shri Shri Radha Vinod Vihari Ju Ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Mahārāja Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Jai Shri Swapashad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopigan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Tulsi Maharani Vrindadevi Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Bhakti Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, all the associates of Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Pranams everybody who's here. Let's see. Pranams Kishore Mohan Prabhu and Sudevi Didi, Nuri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Rupcharan Prabhu, Archana Didi, Archana Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Champak Mataji, Sri Devi Didi, and on YouTube and Facebook, let's see who's there. Krishna Karshini Didi, Champak Mataji, Kishore Prabhu, Vidya Lalasa Didi, Rukmini Didi, Blissful Kundrilian, Kundrilian, I don't know how to say it, Govinda Prabhu, and many other devotees. I only see the names of devotees who write comments though, but I see there are 10 devotees there watching right now, and also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future. Haribol, thank you so much. And see you all tomorrow for more glorifications of Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Right. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Kishore Mahaprabhu. That was really, really special.
I just want to apologize to Bhavatarani and Rihari Prabhu for overstepping my term. Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja was very
No, please,
that.
Prabhu. No need. Absolutely no need. Your service, it doesn't matter. It's like Arjuna. If you have to fight, you fight. You're a preacher. And it's wonderful to hear. You had such great memory, and the points were fantastic. But no, please.
You said we shouldn't be early or late, and I went late, so I'm sorry. Forgive me for that.
That's okay.
But it's
That's
no problem,
to a function. We were the ones who shouldn't be late,
Also, I do this program every day, and so there's no shortage of time. So you'll also have as much time as you like to glorify Śrīla Bhakti Mahārāja. So
you did mention their names in the beginning, and I just lost my track of time. So Śrīla Bhakti Mahārāja said that means I think my time is more important than that of others, which means that, as you all know, Vaishnava humility is not yet set within my heart. So again, I'm apologizing.
Neither am mine, so no need to apologize, bro. Thank you.
We have so much affection for you. You shouldn't feel bad at all. Okay. We love
we're just
hearing you
I
speak.
mean, we know you since you were, like you mentioned, I was in LA. I think you too. Yeah, and you were a year old,
Yes.
And then you were a talented teenager. My sister loved your voice, Bhaktadasi, and she was an amazing singer, was famous at one time. Anyhow, we know your family.
Yeah. I was in the studio with them making chanting the first time.
That's right. We have fun.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
See you all tomorrow. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna.
Oh,
and I'm going to go right now. I'm in Mayapur right now. And so I'm just going to quickly take some prasad, and then I'm going to head over to the program that they're having for Śrīla Bhāratī Mahārāja. Maybe I might go live for some like the Arati or something. I'm probably not going to go live for the whole program like I did other years, but I'll just, yeah, if anybody would like to have darshan of the Arati or anything, then you can come back to my YouTube channel or Facebook page. All right.